The words hung in the air like a noose tightening around my throat. Sarah stood there in our dimly lit kitchen, the fluorescent bulb flickering overhead like a faulty heartbeat, casting erratic shadows on her tear-streaked face. "I've been cheating on you for a year," she whispered, her voice cracking like thin ice underfoot. "With Mike. Your brother." My coffee mug slipped from my fingers, shattering on the tiled floor in a spray of dark liquid and porcelain shards that mirrored the sudden fracture in my chest. I stared at her, the world narrowing to the quiver of her lips, the way her hands twisted the hem of her shirt, a shirt I'd bought her on our last anniversary. Rage boiled up from my gut, hot and viscous, but I swallowed it down. "I see," I said flatly, my voice a stranger's, calm as a frozen lake hiding turbulent depths beneath. The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by the distant hum of traffic outside our apartment window, the city lights blurring into streaks through the rain-smeared glass. Sarah's eyes widened, searching mine for the explosion she expected. The yelling, the accusations, the raw fury that clawed at my insides like a caged animal. But I held it back, forcing my face into a mask of neutrality. Inside, my mind raced. Denial first, a frantic scramble to rewrite her words into something less devastating. Maybe she meant a different Mike. Maybe it was a cruel joke. But no, the guilt etched into her features was too real, too vivid. The flushed cheeks, the averted gaze, the way she shifted her weight as if the floor might swallow her whole. I turned away, grabbing a broom from the corner, the bristles scraping against the floor with a harsh whisper as I swept up the mess. Each shard I collected felt like a piece of my shattered trust, sharp enough to draw blood if I wasn't careful. Heartbreak surged through me, a tidal wave of humiliation that made my skin burn. How many times had I sat across from Mike at family dinners, laughing at his jokes, clapping him on the back, while he smirked behind my back. The images assaulted me. Stolen glances, secret texts, their bodies entwined in some seedy motel or worse, our own bed. Obsession flickered to life, a dark seed planting itself in my thoughts. I needed to know everything, every detail. But asking would give her power, admit my weakness. "Say something," she pleaded, stepping closer, her perfume, a sweet floral scent I'd once loved, now cloying, suffocating. "Alex, please." I didn't mean for it to happen. It just did. Her hand reached for my arm, but I flinched away, the touch like acid. Resentment coiled in my gut, twisting tighter. Just did. As if betrayal was an accident, like spilling wine on the carpet. I wanted to scream, to demand how she could throw away 3 years of us for my own flesh and blood. But instead I met her eyes, forcing a small, tight smile. "What do you want me to say, Sarah?" "Congratulations." The sarcasm dripped out, unintended, but it felt good, a tiny release of the pressure building inside. She recoiled, wrapping her arms around herself, the kitchen clock ticking relentlessly like a countdown to something inevitable. I could see the confusion in her, the expectation of my unraveling unmet. But let her squirm. In that moment, guilt flickered in me too. Guilt for not feeling enough, or for the cold resolve already forming like frost on a windowpane. Was I broken? Shouldn't I be on my knees, begging her to stay? But no, the humiliation fueled something darker. A quiet vow. They would pay. Not with violence, that was too crude, too quick. No, revenge would be surgical. A slow unraveling of their lives as they'd unraveled mine. That night, as she slept fitfully on the couch, insisting she couldn't share our bed, I paced the bedroom, the carpet muffling my footsteps. The city skyline loomed outside, neon signs pulsing like erratic heartbeats. My mind churned with fantasies, exposing them at the family reunion next month, watching my parents' faces crumple in disgust. Or something subtler, hacking into Mike's emails, leaking proof to his boss, derailing his precious career in finance. Doubt crept in, whispering that I was overreacting, that forgiveness was the mature path. But then I'd picture them together, laughing at my obliviousness, and the obsession returned, sharper, more insistent. The next morning, sunlight filtered through the blinds in harsh stripes, illuminating the dust motes dancing in the air like indifferent witnesses. Sarah hovered in the doorway, her hair disheveled, eyes puffy from crying. "We need to talk," she said, her voice tentative, laced with a manipulation I now recognized. The way she'd always coaxed me back after arguments. "I love you, Alex. Mike was a mistake. He's your brother, we can fix this." I poured coffee, the steam rising like a veil between us, and nodded slowly. "Sure. Let's talk." But inside, moral conflict raged. Was I becoming the villain? Mike had always been the golden child. Charming, successful, the one who got away with everything. Maybe he seduced her, preyed on her vulnerabilities. Or perhaps she pursued him, drawn to his confidence that I lacked. Layers peeled back in my thoughts, revealing not just betrayal, but a lifetime of sibling rivalry I'd buried. Over breakfast, eggs congealing on plates neither of us touched, I probed gently, my questions disguised as concern. "When did it start?" I asked, fork tracing patterns in the yolk. She hesitated, then spilled. "A work event where Mike showed up, too much wine, a kiss that led to more." "It was exciting at first," she admitted, wincing. "But now I see how wrong it was." Her words were natural, laced with regret, but I detected the undercurrent, the thrill she still chased in the retelling. Tension built as I listened, my pulse quickening with each detail, filing them away like ammunition. After she left for work, I called in sick, the lie slipping easily from my lips. Alone, I rifled through her drawers, the wood creaking softly, revealing nothing but clothes and forgotten trinkets. Then her phone, left charging, unlocked as if daring me. Texts from Mike. "Miss you already. Last night was incredible." My stomach lurched, resentment flaring into obsession. I scrolled back months, piecing together their affair like a puzzle of deceit. Photos too, intimate, damning. Fear gripped me. What if they found out I knew this much? But the cold resolve pushed it aside. Planning began in earnest, subtle at first. A mental map of their routines, vulnerabilities. That evening, Mike called. His voice booming through the speaker like always, oblivious. "Hey bro. Beers this weekend." The casualness ignited fury, but I kept my tone light. "Sounds good. Bring your A-game." Hanging up, I imagined his smug face shattering when the truth hit. Inner conflict surged. He was blood, but blood had betrayed me. The slow burn ignited, hints of vengeance simmering beneath the surface. Quiet purchases online, anonymous accounts set up, seeds of a plan taking root. Days blurred into a haze of feigned normalcy. Sarah and I coexisted like ghosts, our conversations laced with unspoken barbs. "You're being so understanding," she said one night, curling against me on the couch, the TV droning in the background. Her touch sent revulsion through me, but I endured it, whispering, "I just need time." Inside, fantasies evolved. Not just exposure but ruin. Mike's job hinged on trust. A whispered rumor could topple it. Sarah's art career, fragile as glass. Sabotage there too. Doubt nagged. Was this justice or madness? Guilt for my growing detachment warred with heartbreak, but resentment won out. Subtle hints emerged. I accidentally left her phone unlocked after checking it, watching her panic subtly. At dinner with friends, I dropped vague comments about trust, eyes on her as she fidgeted. Tension rose, a pot simmering toward boil. Moral grayness enveloped me. Revenge felt justified, yet tainted. What if it destroyed more than them? My parents caught in the crossfire. But the obsession drowned the whispers. One rainy afternoon, I followed Mike from his office, the wipers slapping rhythmically against the windshield, blending with my thudding heart. He met Sarah at a cafe, their heads bent close, hands brushing. Humiliation surged anew, fueling the fire. Back home, I plotted in the dim glow of my laptop, fingers flying over keys. The plan crystallized. Expose them not publicly, but intimately. Force them to confess to the family, then twist the knife with evidence of deeper lies. Foreshadowing lingered in my thoughts. Mike's hidden gambling debt, Sarah's secret abortion from years ago. Leverage I'd unearthed. Hidden motives revealed themselves. Perhaps Mike envied my stability. Sarah craved excitement I couldn't provide. As part 1 drew to a close, the suspense thickened. I scheduled a family gathering, inviting them both with an innocuous text. "Let's catch up." Inside, cold resolve hardened. The retaliation loomed, undeniable now, but conflicted, a storm brewing on the horizon. The family home loomed like a sentinel under the overcast sky, its Victorian facade cracked with age, ivy clinging like desperate fingers. Rain pattered on the roof as we gathered in the living room, the air thick with the scent of Mom's pot roast and underlying tension I alone perceived. Mike arrived first, clapping me on the back with his trademark grin. His cologne sharp and invasive. "Looking good, Alex." Sarah coming. His eyes flickered with something, guilt, amusement. I nodded, forcing a smile that didn't reach my eyes. "Yeah. Should be here soon." Inside, anger simmered, layered with heartbreak as I recalled our childhood in this very room, building forts, sharing secrets. How had it come to this? Sarah slipped in minutes later, her coat dripping, avoiding my gaze as she hugged my parents. The small talk flowed like molasses, sticky and forced. Dad droning about his golf game, Mom fussing over appetizers. I watched them, Mike's leg bouncing subtly, Sarah's forced laughter. Hints of their secret dancing just out of reach. Obsession gripped me. Every glance between them fueled my resolve. Dinner commenced, silverware clinking against plates like ticking bombs. I waited for the right moment, heart pounding in my ears, the taste of bile rising. Midway through, as wine loosened tongues, I cleared my throat. "I have something to share." The room fell silent, forks hovering. Sarah's face paled, Mike's eyes narrowing. "Sarah and we've been going through some things." My voice was steady, but inside, doubt crashed like waves. Was this the right path? Moral conflict tore at me. Destroying them meant collateral damage. But humiliation demanded retribution. "Actually, Sarah has something to confess." I turned to her, eyes locking. "Don't you?" She froze, wine glass trembling in her hand. "Alex, please." "Not here." Her plea was raw, natural, revealing the fear I'd cultivated. Mike shifted, murmuring, "What's this about?" But his tone held a edge, a hidden motive surfacing, protecting his skin. The suspense peaked as she broke, tears spilling. "I've been seeing Mike for a year." Gasps echoed, Mom's hand flying to her mouth. Dad's face reddening with shock. Chaos erupted. Accusations flew, Mike denying at first. "She's lying." Then crumbling under pressure. "It was a mistake, bro. I'm sorry." His apology rang hollow, laced with resentment toward me for exposing him. I watched, cold resolve masking the guilt gnawing inside. But this was just the prelude. As the room spun with emotion, I pulled out my phone, projecting texts and photos onto the TV screen, the damning evidence I'd compiled. Sensory details assaulted. The sharp intake of breaths, the metallic tang of blood from biting my lip, the chair scraping as Mike stood, fury twisting his features. "You bastard," he snarled, advancing. "This is low, even for you." But I held my ground, voice calm. "Lower than sleeping with my girlfriend." The confrontation escalated, words weaponized. Sarah sobbing about her loneliness, Mike admitting jealousy. "You always had it easy, the stable one." I wanted a taste. Layers emerged. His gambling debts, her fear of commitment, making them human, flawed, but not excusing the betrayal. In the aftermath, as parents mediated, I slipped away to the backyard, rain soaking my shirt, the cold mirroring my inner chill. Fear hit. What if this backfired? Obsession waned, replaced by emptiness. But the plan wasn't done. Later that night, anonymous tips went out. To Mike's boss about embezzlement I'd fabricated from half-truths, to Sarah's gallery about plagiarized art I'd discovered. Morally gray. Absolutely. Justified. In my fractured mind, yes. Weeks passed in a blur of fallout. Sarah moved out, her parting words laced with bitterness. "You're not the man I thought you were." Mike cut ties, his career teetering. Guilt plagued me, nightmares of their pain mingling with my own. Inner thoughts deepened. Had I become the monster? Doubt festered, but resentment lingered. The twist came unexpectedly. A letter arrived, handwritten from Mike. I know what you did. But there's more. You think it was just us. Sarah was playing both sides. Check her old emails. Heart racing, I dug deeper, uncovering her affairs with others, Mike included as revenge for my own distant nature. The poetic justice stung. My vengeance, built on partial truth, now exposed my blindness. Psychological impact hit hard. Heartbreak renewed, but with cold resolve shattered into reflection. In the end, I stood alone in the empty apartment, rain lashing the windows, the city an indifferent blur. Revenge had delivered consequences unforeseen, leaving me haunted, morally adrift. The pursuit had consumed me, but the betrayal's scar remained, a reminder that some fractures never fully heal.